All right, guys, we've got something different today. This was loaned in from my buddy Gary. Thank you, Gary, as always. This is the Real Steel G3 Puukko, I guess is how you pronounce that, with a Scandi grind. Now, that's why, and that's the unique part about this knife, is the Scandi grind. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But that is why Gary bought this knife, because he doesn't have any Scandi grinds in his collection. This is an interesting knife on a couple of reasons. And let's just zoom in and take a close look. It's got a little bit of texture look to the scales, but you cannot feel that. Okay. It's got the blue clip, and the rest is all just plain titanium. And it is designed by Ostap Heel. I don't particularly like that on the outside of my knife. Okay. I think what would have been really cool is if they had a pop of blue for the hardware, but they don't. The detent is really weak, and we'll talk about that too. Real steel on the blade steel, and the model number on the blade. Again, I don't really feel the need to have the model number on the knife, but okay. And then we get to this very cool Scandi grind. And what is a Scandi grind? It is also referred to as a zero grind. So there is no secondary bevel. You've got the flat of the blade here, then you start the grind here, and it just grinds down to 0 degrees. So there is no behind the edge, because there is no real edge. It's trippy. So if I can show you on, let's see if it shows, I don't know if the Hellraiser is a good example. Let me just grab a Spyderco Delica, which again isn't really a great example either, because it's a full flat grind. So it just starts here and weighs down to this very, cutting edge on that secondary bevel. So let me take a quick look at this. This might be a better example on the Kubi. So you've got the flat of the blade. It grinds down, and then there is another grind that is the actual final cutting edge. Okay? That is not present on this real steel, because it literally just starts here at the edge, at the flat here, and goes down all the way to 0. And I'm going to link an article down below that I found. It talks about the pros and the cons. They say it's a pro for bushcraft work, but it's a con for food prep. And I'll let that article speak for itself. I didn't study it and memorize it all, so I don't want to misquote or misspeak anything, but I'll put a link to that down in the description, because it was very interesting to me as to they were such a big proponent of it in one area, but then really kind of a negative in the other area. So because this is a front flipper, I would like to have a stronger detent. It's not going to fall open. You cannot shake it open. So there's no danger there. There's no concern of it opening in your pocket or when you don't want it to open. There is a little bit of a concern for me, just because it's super light. And if you're just, kind of getting ready to open it, you might accidentally open it. It's just, it shouldn't be that light. Here's another front flipper. I don't know that I gotta try to not fire it. So for me, it needs a stronger detent. All right. Other than that, let's talk about the specs. It's 4 3/4 from the top of the flipper tab to the butt, 8 1/8 overall, 3.49-inch blade. As we mentioned before, there is no behind the edge because it's just what it is. It is 14C28N blade steel. The blade thickness is 0.136. Overall thickness is 0.480. Runs on bearings. Super smooth. And weighs in at 4.9 ounces. Okay, it's not drop shut, but a couple of shakes, maybe one hard shake, and you can get it closed. It's a cool knife. It's like $85. Okay, it's nothing super spectacular. It's nothing fancy. It is made in China. The pocket clip works well. Okay, it's pretty stiff, but it does work. It's a little bit too tight for my particular tastes, but I think Gary's going to like it, and it will give him a blade shape and geometry to check out. So let's take a close-up look. No, not a close-up look. Let's do a couple size comparisons with the Spyderco Delica, the Sharpie, the AA battery, and the D-cell battery because, well, you know, it's a thing. Since I pulled the Kubi out, next to the Kubi, and for giggles, how about next to the P-Series Red Horse Knife Works Hellraiser? I don't know, it's a cool knife. I don't think I'm going to rush out and buy one, but that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. It's just not my kind of knife. But we'll see what Gary thinks once he gets it, and I ship it back to him. So thanks a lot, everyone. I do greatly appreciate it. Have a fantastic day.